Hey growing people, welcome out to the garden. Today I wanted to show you my butternut squash. These have been growing in these cells indoors for a long time, probably too long. I planted them at the end of November and it is the beginning of March. So they've been in these pots. They used to be in tiny, like 1-inch cells, and I moved them into these, even though I know butternut squash do not like to be transplanted. So this will be the second time that I'm transplanting these, and we'll see how that works. We'll see if the roots take to the soil and if they grow at all. So it's kind of an experiment, but I consider it all an experiment until something good happens. So I wanted to take a closer look at where I trimmed some of the leaves off because they were dry. they were dead leaves. So I trimmed some of them off here, but it already looks like it wants to grow some more leaves if you look really closely. Like down here is where the seed leaves came out, the cotyledon leaves, and those are supposed to dry up and fall off, which they dried up, but I ended up cutting them off. But even there, it looks like a new leaf wants to form. So to me, that says that this tree wants to live and that I should plant it in some soil and help it to do so. So some of these other leaves are, I think they're a little bit burned. I'm not sure if that's from me putting them too close to the glass in a sunny window, or I'm not sure what I did actually, but a couple of them have that same issue. But as I've been hardening these off for the past couple, like 3 or 4 days, they've grown these nice, really dark green leaves, and I think that's a good sign. And you can see here that some more leaves are wanting to grow. So I am okay putting these in some soil and not transplanting them again after this because squash don't like that. But this is like the overall health of my plants. You can see the same thing, like some right here, some more leaves are still wanting to grow, and the same as with the other stalks, you could see that some tiny leaves already want to grow from the nodes where I cut off the dead leaves. So that tells me that it's time to let these go and go into the ground is what I mean. So that is what I'll be doing today. I'm gonna put them in a 5-gallon grow bag, which I have right here, and I'm gonna fill it with soil and get started. Okay, so I've got a 5-gallon grow bag. I will put each of the seedlings in, I think I'm gonna put each one in its own 5-gallon grow bag. And squash are generally a summer crop, and it is definitely not summertime. It is the beginning of March. Here in zone 9, it is abnormally cold and rainy this year. And one of the things that I've noticed is that you have to experiment with what will grow and how in your own area. So that is what I am doing, experimenting and trying to see if I can actually grow my winter crop or my summer crop a little bit earlier, because when it gets to be summertime, it's going to be way too hot, and that's when things start dying. So that is what I'm trying to do this time. So I've got my raised bed soil, and I'm gonna add some perlite and maybe some compost to this mix, and then I'll be able to plant my seedling. I'm adding some peat moss for water retention, and I'm also going to add a little bit of granular fertilizer just to help these little plants along. Okay, so I've got my first plant here, and I give it a little bit of water just to make sure that it's easy to get out of these cells. I've got my hole already dug out. I'm just going to place the stem between my fingers, and it should come out with no problem. And you can see the roots there. Doesn't look terrible. A nice root ball has formed, and I know they don't like being transplanted, so I'm going to put these in here right now. So I don't want to cover up any of the places where I saw leaves growing, so I won't do that, but I'll just make sure to tuck it in nice and tight. And that should be a good start for it to grow. I'm going to give it some rainwater since it's been raining lately. But I'm going to do that when I go and put this where it's going to live permanently. So I'm going to grab my next bag and do the same exact thing. So as I was saying before, squash are definitely not, or usually not, winter plants. But I'm trying to see what I can get away with and what will work in my area and for my methods. And yeah, basically what I can get away with. So if this works, planting these sun-loving plants in, the beginning of March, that would work for me. So here's my second plant. And I'd like some leaf mulch to find to put around it, but again, it's still winter and we don't have that many leaves. So if I could find some around the yard, I will put them on top of the soil so it doesn't get dried out. But if not, I will just leave it the way that it is. So I made sure to give these plants plenty of nutrients and fertilizer and compost, kind of whatever I could think of to give them a nice start out in the yard, out in the garden. And I'm hoping this will all do the trick. And I'll just have to keep an eye on them and see that they're not getting too cold or frostbitten or frozen or anything like that. It's supposed to be warmer in the coming weeks, so I hope that really is going to happen. I wanted to give you a quick glimpse of what's going on above me. It definitely looks like it's going to rain. Hopefully it won't come down on me, but actually it doesn't matter because the plants need rain anyhow. But I don't want to get drenched, so I'm going to finish my last plant and then get them watered and be done. All right, here's the last one. And the soil is already pretty damp because it's been out in the rain and it got damp, so I won't need to water as much. But I want to make sure that this is nice and secure in the soil. And then we'll put some labels on it.
Alrighty, that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, grow something good. Bye.